Overthinkers. My name is Courtney and welcome to the Overthinker Guide. So today we're going to be talking about our third day on the Virgin Voyages cruise, and we are in Aruba this day. So this is our first port day. So that next morning we woke up to the sunrise, but the thing is we were not at the port yet. We were still on our way there. This day we actually had our breakfast reserved, and we went to Razzle Dazzle. So Razzle Dazzle is the vegetarian forward restaurant that Virgin has, although they do offer meat options. I would say, and I know we're talking about breakfast, but I would say for dinner they offer even more meat options than they do vegetarian options. I feel like they flipped it a little bit, but breakfast they definitely have more vegetarian options than meat options. We ate breakfast there, so I ended up getting a sunny side up hash, and then I got the bacon because everyone kept saying like how good the bacon was. I mean, it was good, but I don't know if I believe the hype. It was a thick bacon, which was a major plus. I love thick bacon. It had syrup, like it like had syrup on it, and I don't know if it was syrup, but it was like candied bacon and a little spice. It was a little spicy, so I think that might have been why I'm just kind of like because it had spice on it. But yeah, it was good bacon. I don't understand the big hype about it. So that's what I got for breakfast, and then I think I also got a juice. But for mom, if you watched the last video, I said she was a picky eater. So of course this restaurant, being a bit more innovative, she got the chicken sandwich. But if you've seen the Razzle Dazzle chicken sandwich, it's a black bun with a beet aioli, and she did not want to eat that. So she didn't really eat a lot. I had a little bit of the chicken. I thought it was fine, but she was a little skeptical of what was seasoning the chicken. I don't know why. She was allergic to a lot of stuff also, which is why she's a picky eater. So she was just a little skeptical. By the time we actually finished breakfast, we were docked in Aruba, and I could actually see us like fully pulling into the port at that point because the porthole was behind my mom where we were seated. So we didn't have any excursions this day, so we didn't have to rush off the ship, but we did, once we finished breakfast, we did kind of go upstairs to get ready to get off, and I actually stopped by the karaoke room first to sign up for a spot because I knew we weren't going to be out there all day. Even though this is the port day, we're actually there until midnight, so you could spend the entire day out and enjoying Aruba if you want to. So Aruba it was hot. Like, I thought Puerto Rico was hot. It was hot in Aruba. Like, I don't even know. The sun was hitting different. So we were like walking around taking pictures. We saw the Harley Davidson store, and we had a family friend who collects the poker chips for Harley Davidson, but they said that they didn't sell the Harley Davidson chips anymore. And also Curacao, just jumping ahead a little bit, Curaçao's Harley Davidson also doesn't sell the poker chips anymore. Just a heads up if you collect those. So we were a little bit bummed about that, but then when we walked out of the store, well, really we had asked the store person first about the streetcar, because Aruba has a free streetcar that'll take you just around the Origestad. I've definitely said that wrong actually, but we were like, oh, do you know when the streetcar is gonna run? And as soon as we asked, it like pulled up. So we hopped on and we did one round around the streetcar. did my research ahead of time, so I knew about the streetcar. I just didn't know all the stops. So I saw the architecture museum, that was one of the stops that we could stop at, and I was like, oh, okay, that was on my list. That's also free, actually. They would like a donation, but you don't have to give a donation. I thought it was $10, but it was free, so that was nice to know. We didn't get off there though. Like I said, we rode around one time just to see everything. I saw the pistachio house on the way there. It doesn't stop right there. It stops like a little bit further back, but you can still walk to it. And then we had a moment where we were stopped for like a good 15 minutes before we started up again. So like other tourists who weren't on it before hopped on the streetcar, and we didn't really stray far from it in that 15 minutes. We just took some pictures and then got back on. It takes you by the mall, and it takes you by the Renaissance hotel where the penguins where the flamingos are. It takes you by the Renaissance Hotel where the flamingos are. To get to the Flamingo Beach, you do have to have like a pass for Renaissance. So we went around there, and then we were back at the cruise terminal. So we rode it one more time, but we rode it to get back to the architecture museum because that was one of the things I wanted to do. So we spent about 40 minutes in there, maybe a little bit longer, if not just for the educational purposes, to get away from the heat. And I realized this was like the first time I had seen kids in days because there were some kids there. And I was like, oh yeah. So we were going to try to wait for the streetcar to come back because what they said was that they do like 3 routes with the large route, which is what we rode the first time, and then they do a shorter route later in the day. So we were hoping we could still catch the large route because the museum was a part of the large route. But we ended up just walking to our next stop, which was, well, first we got some Ritual skincare stuff for my mom because she loves that skincare brand, and sometimes they don't ship to the US. So we stopped there, and then we stopped at the pistachio house, and I got the ham and cheese pistachio. It said it was $3.50, but he only charged me $2, but I think it was $3.50 in the Aruban currency. I know I found what it was called, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, the pistachio was actually really good. Like the dough was so soft. I should have got 2, but I only got 1. But that was really good. So after we got the pistachio, we again waited for the trolley car, the streetcar, for maybe like 20 minutes because we thought again it would come back around, and we thought that this would be the short route stop. But after 20 minutes, we just decided to walk it back because we weren't too far from the cruise terminal. But yeah, so we walked back. They have a Keller Williams. If you're into real estate or know someone in real estate, that might be under the brokerage of Keller Williams. They have a Keller Williams branch in Aruba that's like right across the street from the port, the cruise terminal rather. So we stopped in there. So my mom could take a picture with the crew, and then we went back to the ship. So again, we did not spend the whole day out there. They do have a lot of fun things that you can do, like they have party buses, bar tours, things like that, like especially at night, that you can kind of experience the nightlife there. I'm not a nightlife kind of person, but if that's what you're into, I would suggest definitely still, like even if you go back during the day, because they're not leaving until midnight, you can go back at night and kind of see everything. I remember my original plan for this day was to go to one of the restaurants that were on the beach. So like you can either like eat in the sand or eat in the water. So that was my original plan, but then I realized like we have free food on the ship. Why am I about to pay like hundreds of dollars to eat here? I mean, it's for the experience, like, let's be honest, it's for the experience, but I just had to like backtrack and be like, I'll just eat on the ship. So that's why we ended up going back on probably like mid-afternoon, like 4 o'clock maybe. Actually maybe a little earlier than 4. No, it was early in the 4 because our karaoke room sign up was at 4. That's what, yeah. So we went back on maybe like at 3:30, so we could go to the karaoke room. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Actually, I got ahead of myself. So I'm sorry. We actually got on and back on at around 2. And because our karaoke thing wasn't until 4, we had some time to kill. I was hungry and I didn't necessarily want anything from the galley, so I tried to get something from the social club because they have like wings and pretzels and hot dogs and all that stuff, but they weren't open yet. Like, they weren't going to be open until 3, but there was trivia, music trivia this time happening, which I was a little bit better at. And I joined another group. I don't know where Mom went. I think Mom went to rest for a little bit and then she eventually came and joined me in the trivia. But I had joined these 2 ladies. They called their team the Sister Act, so I think they are sisters. They were really sweet. They let me join their team because, again, I was going to play by myself. And because it was a port day, there weren't a lot of people on the ship. But they let me join their team, and I did way better at this trivia. I'm more of a music person, so did way better at music trivia. We just still didn't win, but we did pretty well. So that was fun. My mom ended up joining towards the end of the trivia, and then at that point, once trivia was over, Social Club was finally open so we could get some wings. With the Social Club, I said it had wings, pretzels, popcorn, all that stuff. It also has like snacks, so like candy, like Rice Krispie bars and all that stuff. But I really wanted some wings. I wanted to try them. So we ordered that, and then I also got a Coca-Cola float, which was like, I think it was $9. But here's the thing though. Here's what I realized, and here's where I messed up. Soda is free on Virgin Voyages. Ice cream is free on Virgin Voyages. What I should have did was just got a thing of Coca-Cola, got some ice cream from the ice cream place, and made my own float instead of paying $9. Granted, I had a bar tab that I could spend, so I just used that, obviously. But I realized that's what I could have did to not spend any money. So if you want to do that, just get yourself a cup of Coke and go to the ice cream place, get some vanilla ice cream or whatever flavor you want to get with your Coke float and Coca-Cola float, I guess, and make it that way. So we ate our wings, and Mom went to get ice cream on her own. So in between us eating and then going to the karaoke room, because it was finally time for our slot. So when we got there a little early, but no one was in the room. So I kind of just went ahead and went in because it was like 15 minutes before my time and nobody was in there. So I went in and we started doing karaoke. So it was really fun. I do think if you have a group of friends, it's going to be even better. They have like rooms for 2 to 4 people. They have another room for 4 to 8 people, and then like another room from 8 to like 15 or something like that. So they have different rooms based on the size of your group. We realized we didn't know the words to quite a few songs that we chose, but we still had a really good time. It was fun.
Just sitting on top of the world, sitting on top of the world, sitting on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world, top of the world. The feeling that I'm feeling the other night, I'm being born. I'm having such a good mission, I don't have a choice. I'm really good to have you right by my side, right here. 'Cause baby, when you left, I lost a part of me. It feels so hard to believe. Come back, baby, please, that we belong together.
So at this point, once we finished up in karaoke, because I used my full time, plus the 15 minutes, we got ready for dinner because I made our dinners at 6, just because I prefer to eat earlier than later. So I made our dinner at 6. Or wait, I'm sorry. This is when I had dinner by myself. I made my dinner at 6 at the test kitchen. And the reason why I was by myself is because my mom, again, is a picky eater. The test kitchen is not for picky eaters. It's the test kitchen because they are experimental. So I went to the test, I went to get ready for the test kitchen, and I was eating by myself. And they sat me next to another woman who was also eating by herself. And she was on the cruise with her husband, but he wasn't feeling well, so he couldn't go to dinner with her. So we ended up chatting as we were eating and trying different things. Before I even get into it, I just want to say, like, the test kitchen I really enjoyed. I think if you're more of adventurous as far as trying your food, definitely go to the test kitchen. If you're curious about different food combinations and things like that, I think you'll really like it. It's not the best meal I had, but it was really good. So the one I was speaking with, we were talking, we were, getting to know each other as far as how we liked the cruise so far, what we did and things like that. But then someone came up to her, someone who worked on the cruise ship came up to her and was asking her about something that happened the night before. And so one thing that Virgin Voyages does is that they ask you questions on a survey when you at the end of the night to like see how they're doing. So I'm assuming she said something on her survey regarding one of the bars. So he, found her and was like trying to make it right. So he gave her like a bottle. No, not a bottle. He didn't give her a bottle. He gave her a free glass of champagne. And because I was talking to her, I got a free glass of champagne. So that was nice. But it's like, that's kind of like the good service that people are talking about when they talk about Virgin, is that like she mentioned something the night before. They try to fix it like the next day, if not sooner, in some cases. So that was nice to just see what the level that they go through for the service. But let me get back to Test Kitchen because I think this is important to know what's served. So for Test Kitchen, they have 2 menus. The one I had was the mushroom, egg, scallops, beef or venison, blue cheese, and chocolate. So the mushroom was it was like a mushroom cloud, but not like physical mushrooms. They were like blended or something like that. It was really good. If you like mushrooms, you'll like that. I've recently started to like mushrooms, but I really liked that. The egg was like an egg yolk over peas, and they like smoked it to give it like a smoky flavor. That was surprisingly good. They also had like a bread that you would eat it with. I like that more than I expected.
Okay. All right, on 3. 1, 2, and 3. Smoke is from applewood chips, and in a bed of kale puree we have our smoked oil egg yolk. Around it we have English peas, pea tendrils, citrus oil, viola flowers, and white sturgeon caviar. And our recommendation, you break the egg yolk, you mix it all together, and you spread it in our beer bread made of Guinness.
Guinness beer bread. Thank you.
The scallops, I'll be honest, I can't remember what that tasted like. I mean, it tastes like scallops, but I can't remember like how they like made it innovative, and I feel so bad. I can't remember. So then the next course is the main course, which is the beef or venison. I got venison because I've never had it before, so this was a chance to try it. It looks like a murder scene on your plate. You've probably heard that before if you've seen other Virgin Voyages videos. It was good, but I feel like I probably would have wanted just to get beef, like if I'm being honest. The blue cheese is more like a palate cleanser. I'm not a fan of blue cheese, but that was decent enough to eat. And then the chocolate, honestly, it was like a chocolate cake. The chocolate was probably the best thing I ate. Yeah, I really liked it, but I also really like chocolate, even though I'm not supposed to eat chocolate because of my GERD. So yeah, my favorite was the chocolate and then also the mushrooms. So the first and last dish. We sat in front of one of the chefs. His name was Nigel, and he was, he was preparing we could see him preparing all of the different plates and how he kind of like scooped up like the mushroom shape and put it on the pan. We were like, how does that stay intact and all that stuff? So he was cool. He was quiet, but he was cool. Pedro was our server. Very nice. I saw him in another person's, I was like watching other videos when I got back, and I saw him in another person's video. I was like, oh, it's Pedro. So after that, I was like, okay, they have 2 menus. My goal was to try the second menu on the last night. We'll get into that when we get to the last night, but yeah, so that was my goal, to try the second menu, because it changes in the middle of the week. So for the first part of the week, it's one menu, which is the menu I just said, and then the second half of the week, I think starting Wednesday, it's the other menu. Because we were going to be on here for a week, you do get a chance to try both menus. After dinner, my mom had told me she was going to eat at the galley because she didn't have me make her reservation for another restaurant. And so I said, okay, you can go to the galley. But she didn't eat anything. So I was so mad. But she was still charging her phone when we went to the next show. So the next show that we had for this night was Around the World with the Diva. I've only been to like one drag show in my life, so this was kind of like a drag show. It was like a musical with a drag queen. I don't know if I would call it a drag show, but I guess it is a drag show because it's her musical. So I actually noticed that the dancers from the previous night's entertainment were the dancers for this show. And it was kind of like, it was a comedy with musical numbers. So I enjoyed it. I don't know if I liked it as much as I liked the other shows, but it was fun. I think if you haven't experienced drag shows, definitely go to that. It's fun. So after the Around the World with the Diva, we finally made sure our mom got some food, and she went back to the pizza place and got some pepperoni pizza. And then we went to the Manor for this event that was called The Hostess Sings Her Secrets. And so we went to this because the person hosting the trivia earlier for music trivia, he said we should go see it because he would be performing in it. He was kind of like the hostess, what can I say, one of the dancers essentially. And the hostess, she sang like jazzy covers of popular songs to kind of convey what her secrets were. So yeah, that was how we ended the night. The next day we would be in Curacao. So if you like this video, please leave a like down below and consider subscribing if you'd like to see the next video. And leave a comment of how you would spend a day in Aruba. Like, my day was very chill. There's way more exciting things to do in Aruba than what I did. But if you don't have an excursion plan, I do think this would be a good, way to see the city. But what would you do in Aruba? Let me know in the comments. Until the next video, I will see you later, Overthinkers.